Galatians 5 verse 18. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. As I said, during this time, you'll see a lot of common information all the time. When we prepare the information every week, we find this is a common message, and so is that. God used these things to confirm the message Pastor Wynne shared. Every time a new common message is born, it is God's faith. You were there when it was born, when it didn't exist, born because you did something. God responds to your belief that you have God. But when it's true, we should cherish it, because, that's another level of confidence. Even people will admit it as evidence. You have proof, but do you believe it? The proof is in front of us. Because faith means faith of faith, God expects you to believe without proof, without sight. The presence of Zion has gradually destroyed these, especially when the world recognizes us. Sometimes, I wonder, when will God let the whole world recognize us? But once the world recognizes us, the church period ceases to exist. What should the world do? There's nothing else to do. They're missing even the first step of faith, not to mention hope born out of despair. Because not only do we have to believe, but hope is actually born out of despair. In despair, you can have hope. What a noble sentiment that is, what a disregard for life and death. In my case, when I decided to cure my terminal illness by faith, at that time, I was hopeful. You think this is the real hope, which is to put life and death outside the sentiment. However, now that I'm talking, the evidence is obvious. There is no faith, there is no hope, there is no true love. That kind of love is already motivated, love for profit. How can it be God's unselfish love? Therefore, all the killer cards of faith that enhance our lives has completely lost its effectiveness. The existence of the bride, in other words, ultimately supplanted the entire Christian world, and all the ways of the church age to lift life up. So we can see why the Lord Jesus had to be crucified. Then he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. If the Lord Jesus is as powerful as the bride, so, how can life be born? No more. Suppose, when the Lord Jesus was captured in the Garden of Gethsemane, he's like a mutant, open your eyes and shoot through everyone. He only looked back at Herod during the trial, and the whole palace was instantly razed. Do you understand? If it's a mutant, then, all he had to do was sneeze, and all of Rome burned down. If so, how can life and the character of God exist? No way. All that's left is a bunch of fanboys, blind followers. They claim to be fans of the Lord Jesus and follow along, right? How is there life in this? They lost themselves, unable to make individual life choices. Therefore, in the time of the Lord Jesus, he cannot come destructively and be a proof of God. However, when the bride has completed her mission and become evidence, the Lord Jesus did not mind coming to earth, as devastating evidence, straight down the Mount of Olives, eradicate the world. It will be no good if the world is not destroyed. God has given us enough time, and when the church is finished shaping and becoming evidence, there is no longer a question of trust. So, when the Lord Jesus was welcoming the bride, just come down here and trample and destroy the world. Do you understand the context of all this now? Why is faith designed this way? Why are humans like this? Remember, everything around us, entirely created and arranged by God, including our age, especially the last 10 years of common information. As I often say, God has made a plan. He wants a precious life. However, this life was worthless at birth on earth. Until God took it back, it became a precious life. The kingdom of heaven was created for those who deserve it. Therefore, the rewards of heaven are gifts given to different grades of life. By contrast, what many people think of as going to heaven and salvation, its true meaning has completely changed. So, those so-called hymns. For example, just as I am really killed many people. Imagine being accepted into heaven without changing. Is that grace? But this grace does not seem so great, impossible. It also explains why people who believe in these concepts, thinking that Satan would eventually be saved, now you see, it's impossible. What is Satan worth saving? It has no real life at all, his life is the lowest. Isn't that right? Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. To tell you how it all ends. Now you see why those who believe in him have life. What kind of life is that? Turns out, without this belief, our lives would come to a standstill, there will be no new life born of God. So when you believe in the Lord, you begin to belong to the life of the earth, birth of a heavenly life, and this heavenly being has a destination, but the territory's life has nowhere to go but faces the end of hell. Now you understand that the Bible makes this distinction between life. After believing in the Lord, you begin this journey of life. Galatians 5 verse 18. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law.
喺絕望當中，你能夠產生盼望嘅時候，其實嗰個係一個置身死於度外幾高嘅情操。但係問題，當辛苦完成，佢就係證據嘅神，信都唔使咯，更加唔使講盼望啦，仲咩愛啊？即係話辛苦嘅存在係將成個基督教界、教會時代所有提升生命嘅殺手鐧呢，都廢晒武功。
That's deep and pure, molding a life divine, celestial. We strive to earn our heavenly cure. In the darkness we find our trust. In the unknown we build a faith. With open hearts we reach for the stars. To be worthy of heaven's embrace.
所以主耶穌一早已經講話，我係道路真理生命，已經係講俾你聽一切嘅終極。而家你就明白，信嘅人會得生命係一個乜嘢生命？原來我哋如果冇呢個信仰咧，我哋嘅生命停滯不前，唔會誕生新嘅神嘅生命。所以你信咗主咧，你嘅生命先至開始誕生出嚟，從你自己一個屬地嘅生命誕生一個屬天嘅生命。
We hold on to hope. We hold on to life.